What's on your mind?
Oh, howdy, Tom. I was interested in the whole concept of what an honest conservative is, and it's interesting that a long time ago you were talking about John Boehner cutting unemployment right after Christmas.
Right.
Now,
3 days after Christmas.
If he was an honest fiscal conservative, the idea that 1/3 of America's economy is based on Christmas, all those jobs, everybody knows that they're going to do massive layoffs right after Christmas, but they want to stimulate the economy with Christmas, so everybody goes on their credit cards in the name of Jesus, but they hope that there's a job right after Christmas. Right. Now, for John Boehner to cut unemployment right after Christmas means that he's sticking millions of people with credit card debt that they did just for the loyalty to the country. Well, let's spend a little more so America will be have a famous Christmas. And
like after 9/11, George W. Bush said, somebody asked him, what can I do to help America? And he said, go out and go shopping.
Yeah, same deal. So for John Boehner to even pretend to be a fiscal conservative and do that is insane. You know
who's the most consistent, high-integrity conservative in American politics right now? Barack Obama.
Who comes out as you mean a name?
No, Barack Obama, President Obama. His policies, and this is in the, I have a lot of respect for the old-fashioned Barry Goldwater, Dwight Eisenhower conservatives, the real conservatives, the conservatives who said, change in this country should be gradual and incremental. It should benefit the majority of the people. There are conservative principles, the stuff that my dad believed in, by and large, that actually make us, a certain amount of sense. And I'm not sure I'd go so far as to always call Obama conservative, but he's in the mold of Dwight Eisenhower, who was a great president.
Right. Well, the old division in America economically was if you lived off the land, you were dependent upon, not a drought year, or a blight year, or a flood year, and you had to live. In fact, Thomas Jefferson in his second inaugural is trying to get the economy stabilized through agriculture, and he talks about agriculture is this with agriculture as it's stable and commerce as its handmaiden.
Yep.
Is the expression, and the idea that commerce now, all these guys in the pie in the sky penthouse create a totally fake economy, and then the nature has to live up to it.
Yeah.
So this got shown off when the redwoods were being cut down here in California. The guy that owned them was a savings and loans crook, and he was so deep in debt that he was cutting down 800-year-old redwoods just to pay off the interest on his note. So,
you know who stopped that, by the way, David? If I may just do a small tangent here?
Yeah.
The guy who took, on behalf, I don't know if it was the Sierra Club back then or if it was just the state of California, but the guy who took that case pro bono and argued successfully to protect the redwoods, to define them as state-protected property, was a man by the name of Delphin Delmas. He's a little more famous because he defended a guy named Harry White in 1904, 1905, in a case that was made into a movie, The Girl in the Red Velvet Swing, starring Ray Milland in the 1950s. He defended a guy who had basically murdered his mistress and got him off, and he was a big New York socialite guy. But Delphin Delmas also, the thing that he's not so famous for, but that I know him for, is he's the guy who argued the case on behalf of Santa Clara County in 1886 before the Supreme Court, again, pro bono, for free, in the Santa Clara County versus Southern Pacific Railroad case. He's the guy, the one where the court famously didn't say, but according to history did say, corporations are people. He's the guy who stood in front of the Supreme Court and said, seriously, you want to offer matrimonial privileges to corporations? The right of intestate, the right of inheritance? That's Delphin Delmas. He's the guy who saved the redwoods, too. Anyhow, back to you, David.
Well, that's kind of interesting you raise that, because when you look at the California gay rights, we've got this mixture of two attorneys. What was it, Kenneth Starr and trying to think of who the other one was, and they're both looking at that same economic model through their argument there. I was going to wrap it up too with colony economics is what these old boys, if these guys were trying to claim that they were true conservatives, why is it with an expanding population we get into more and more monopoly?
Right.
Because monopoly is as far from true conservative as you can get.
Exactly. Dwight Eisenhower loved the Sherman Antitrust Act. Richard Nixon was the guy who initiated the breakup of AT&T. It was finished by Jimmy Carter, but it was because it took that long to work its way through the Justice Department. But it was initiated by Richard Nixon.